Hi, folks. We're going through this week pretty quickly as we're already to Wednesday. And it was another cool start this morning. So I'll start you off with a look at the low temperatures. Not quite as chilly as yesterday morning, but we were in the 40s just about everywhere across the area. In fact, all the points I have plotted on the map were in the 40s. Now, typically we see 54 degrees. That's a long-term average for the date. And you can see that we're well below that. Looking at your record temperature back in 2003 in downtown Alexandria at the power plant, it was 35 degrees. So not a record low, but I don't know if you call this the Easter snap and yesterday morning's lows, but maybe so. It's close enough, I guess. Right, Alexandria, we've got a clear sky looking at us here for today. As you see, a little traffic moving back and forth, thanks to Sinlaw Broadcasting for the cam there. And then let's go down to St. Landry and Stellies to get us something good to eat at the market and restaurant. And we see a beautiful clear sky in that direction also. Coming up, we got a peaceful weather pattern, but there are a couple of fronts coming. And does that mean that there's a pattern change on the way? Is it like, well, once we get used to this pattern, is it going to change up on us? So we'll talk about that in the 7-day forecast and the 8 to 14-day outlook. Flood alert. So one major change is that the flood warning for Red River has been taken down all the way up from Grand Ecore down into Alexandria and portions of Avoyelles and some of these areas across extreme eastern Louisiana. We do have a flood watch up for the Avoyelles Parish area and St. Landry because of the Atchafalaya River may still get in flood. Now, the Mississippi River remains in a moderate flood pattern coming up here in the not too distant future. Little River and Calcasieu River near Glenmora also remaining under a flood warning, as well as the lower Sabine River across southwest Beauregard Parish. So that's a roundup of the flood alerts. And as far as the details are concerned, I don't really have anything new for you because it really hasn't changed except the Red River being taken out of the flood warned area there. So that's good news. And of course, I wouldn't be surprised to see some backwater across those parishes of Catahoula, Concordia, and Avoyelles that typically have it when the water gets up. So satellite and radar, see a little front moving through to the northwest of us. This front is actually in our forecast. You can see a little energy up to the north with clouds and a surface low pressure. And we've got a little weather system that's going to be our first front in the forecast. So futurecast for Thursday morning, back to work and school, no problems there. A beautiful start, even not as chilly as the previous couple of mornings, but I still think some of you who are cold nature need a little light jacket or long sleeves or something like that, as we'll bottom out probably around 50 or so. Then for Thursday in the PM, say 5 o'clock, going home, no problems there. But I did stop this during after the midnight hour. This is the HRRR model at 2 a.m. And so this is with the first front coming through that I showed you. And look at, you can see some isolated convection with this, which extends from portions of central Louisiana eastward. And so that is where, if we have any rain with that front, this is the area that it would be in, probably Wynne, Grant, and Rapides Parish, as well as Avoyelles, LaSalle, Catahoula, and Concordia. And I'd have to only go about 10% in that because you see it's very isolated. That gets down to the south by Friday morning commute time. It doesn't look like there'll be any problems there. And Friday looks like a beautiful day coming up for us here in Sinlaw. Let's check out the weather pattern from the upper level standpoint. Remember, these are cool, deep bubbles of air right there, and there's another one setting off the west coast. Elsewhere in the warm colors, we see high pressure pretty much in control. So let's watch this area and see what happens as I put it into motion. We will see another little system come down, kind of bringing a second front into the area. This, of course, being into the Saturday morning time frame. Again, this will be with the first front. And then we'll go a little bit later. You see another piece of energy making its way across the northern plains into the Great Lakes, the Midwest, down to the Tennessee Valley, right in there. There'll be a little bit of a moisture response from the Gulf with that. And on the back side of it, we'll get another front in the 7-day forecast. And then afterwards, we see a little energy back off to the west of us once again. And that may be the pattern changer. depending on how things operate. So let's check things out. 7-day forecast here going into Thursday. I do have 10% across the area. I put a PM in, and those pairs that I mentioned, 10% for the Thursday night as the front comes through. No issues on Friday. A mostly sunny day, 55 and 79. It'll be cooler, noticeably cooler Saturday morning. Back in the 40s for lows, 77. Be a beautiful day there, beautiful Sunday, but warming up. High of 83 degrees. No rain this weekend, so as far as weekends go, this is going to be splendid as far as temperatures and all of the weather elements there. No humidity and little or no wind with that. So the wind won't be a problem. All right, for Monday, we start our warmest day probably in the mid 80s, partly cloudy day. So far, I'm holding rain chances out. I did put in 20% for the front on Tuesday as we cloud up some, 62 and 82. There'll be a little bit of humidity with that, nothing terrible though. And then back Wednesday, a little bit dry air, cooler Wednesday morning, okay, because the dry air comes in, 78 for your high on Wednesday. So that's still a good 7-day forecast for you. So I take another little look at it for you before I go to the 8 to 14 day, week 2 forecast, 17th through the 23rd. Pocket of warm air continues out west. We've now shifted into the near normal category for temperature, and we're between an area below to the east and that warmth to the west of us. And as far as the rainfall is concerned, looks like a dry area out west, near normal, and then once again a swath of above normal rainfall here across our part of the world. We're kind of on the boundary between the near normal and the above, right in here. So much of North Louisiana across in the above pattern. Therefore, as the weather pattern may be showing some signs of changing here across the area. So that's it from me. Nick Mickey will be back with you tomorrow morning, and I'll see you during the PM hours. And I hope you have a terrific